Welcome everyone to another Wednesday night, the fundamentals to gain inner peace with your host, Coach Menachem Bernfeld. And here we are, two weeks before Pesach, a little bit more. Time to take a deep breath, no matter where you are, and see what comes up. I know some people feel there's another few weeks to Pesach, and others feel that it's happening tomorrow. But whatever it is, just to become aware of, where am I? Okay, so last week we took a walk, and I hope you had a chance to actually experience it, to take some time to take that walk. Walking meditation, we discussed, for some people, to sit and meditate, sit and relax, sit and be mindful in one place, in a way that could be easy. Nobody's bothering them, it's quiet, and they're focusing on their breath or whatever it is. But to get up and walk, or to go to work, or whatever it is, you're around triggers. So that's over there, it's a little bit hard. So basically, we're going from sitting meditation to walking meditation, and eventually to being able to be mindful during your day, no matter what's going on, no matter who's around you, to be mindful. So those are the steps. If you can find time to walk in a quiet place for a few minutes, and you learn the skill of being mindful of your body, your breath, you're walking, you become aware of the five senses. You smell the smells. You start seeing different things that when you're in a rush, you don't see. And you slow down. So eventually we can go into, at work, at home, cleaning for Pesach, just being aware. And basically learning how to be mindful in any situation. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more tonight. For those who weren't here last week, walking meditation, you can listen to the recording, last week's recording on walking meditation, just basic steps of how to, and then practice. You can let me know if you had time in the past week to practice a little bit of walking meditation. Let me know in the chat. And if you didn't, that's also fine. Okay, so some of you have experienced it. Amazing. Beautiful. So let's do some mindful practice over here before we start. Just to take a deep breath, let's get grounded. Become aware of where I am. And today we can do a little bit of stretching. So you can turn your head, put one ear next to your shoulder as much as possible. Don't do too much. Just feel the feelings, whatever you feel. Beautiful. Back to center, and then to the other side. Just feel that stretch a little bit. And take a deep breath back to center. And rolling your shoulders up and down. Just letting it all out. Good. And now you can do it mindfully when you roll your shoulders. Just feel those bones. Just let yourself slow it down and feel it. Take a deep breath and just feel the feelings of whatever comes up. And then let go. Wow. Like what I always say, small things make a big difference. Just feeling, stopping for a moment, being mindful. Where am I? What am I feeling? Stretching a little bit. You can feel your body starting to relax already. Now you can close your eyes and just become aware of where you're coming from, what your day looked like, how you got here, whatever it is. And then we turn inwards just to be in touch with our body. Any sensations, tingling, where you feel tense or relaxation, whatever you feel. And take a deep breath and just feel. We're not here to change anything. We're just becoming aware. And especially when it's a busy time, it's important to take some time off so that you can go back to work. And not to wait till you're overwhelmed, until you wait to the last minute, and then you're forced to take some time off. Because then you'll have to do much more work and it's harder. So try to put it in your routine. It could be more than once a day. Find a few moments to become mindful. Just becoming mindful. So like we discussed last week, walking meditation, taking it from sitting meditation in a quiet place out to walking. Doesn't have to be outside. It could be in your house, but you're slowing down. You're becoming mindful. Starting to experience the things around you. That's it. And then eventually we take it to the next level when you go out, when you interact, when there's other people around, and then there are triggers. And if we stop and we take a few minutes just to be mindful, it's much easier. So how do we take this mindfulness into our workplace? How do we take this mindfulness into our cleaning preparations, Ben Azmanim, Pesach, guests, whatever comes up? So taking some time off beforehand and planning, that's step number one, and that's what we're doing. Not waiting for the last minute. Then you're aware of it, but you're not sure, what am I supposed to do now? You're really not supposed to do anything. But if you prepare beforehand, you'll be ready. And we'll learn some different mindfulness techniques. But before we go there, let's discuss mindfulness. What are we looking for? What is mindfulness? So mindfulness is a mental state. It's a heightened awareness and attention to the present moment, without judgment or attachment to thoughts, feelings, or sensations. That means there's no judgment. You're gonna have thoughts, you're gonna have feelings, and there will be sensations. And if you can focus, just be there and don't judge. Say, why am I so overwhelmed? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I thinking? Just be there and watch it. And always put a smile on your face. You become aware of your thoughts. So it's really being in the moment without judgment. Because what happens, usually we judge. We're not happy with where we are, we're not happy with what we're thinking, what we're feeling. So don't judge. Zoom out and just be there. What should I do there? Nothing. Just be aware. And if we can implement during our day a few times to just stop, take a deep breath, and see, where am I? So you become conscious and you direct your focus to the here, to the now. And you're observing You're just observing your thoughts, your emotions. As they arise, they come and go. You sit there, when you sit, you become more, you know what you're looking for. So then when you get up and you're walking and we're stopping, we're doing it for a moment, it's easier. But if you're not sure what you're looking for, sometimes it's hard. So hopefully we're aware of being mindful in a quiet place, sitting in a quiet place for 5-10 minutes. You'll see what comes up. Obviously, we talk about it a lot. And without judgment, whatever comes up, let it come up. It's okay. Keep on breathing. And once we practice that, we can go into our day. And when we stop for a moment or two, we know exactly what it is. We know exactly the thoughts, the emotions, the feelings. We know we're familiar, and we can stop for a moment and take a deep breath and observe. The next step is to observe just with curiosity, not changing anything. What's going on? Where am I? Stop for a moment, take a deep breath, and just see what's going on. With compassion. Compassion. Even if you feel you're overwhelmed, you might be angry, you might be upset. All different emotions come up. Just have compassion, understand it's okay. Like you would have compassion for somebody else, you have compassion for yourself. So there's all different ways how we can become mindful. Mindful movements. When you walk slowly, 1 foot at a time. Taking a walk in nature, or whatever you do to practice to become mindful, and eventually you see the difference after a while. You start feeling different mentally, emotionally, physically. You start feeling a difference in your life. Things slow down, calm down, and you're not so hard on yourself. And you slowly learn how to be there and to accept it's okay. So, what are some small ideas? Small ideas, especially now, before the storm, hopefully before the storm. What can I implement? And it really boils down to something that works for you. There are many different things that you can do. You should be aware of what works for me. I'm aware of what works for me, what I can do, put into my day. But we're just gonna go through some options, see what works for you, try them out, and put them in more than once. So number one is what we discussed, taking walks or slow walks. It shouldn't be for too long. It can be for 2 or 3 minutes. It can be in the house. You just slow down just for a few minutes. Have breaks in your day, short breaks. And for example, if you're walking to take a drink, that little walk can be a mindful walk. You get up from your desk, could be at work, and you're slowly walking to the water fountain or to the water cooler, whatever there is. You take that cup, and you start seeing the cup. Sometimes we don't even see what's going on. We're so busy, we do everything in a rush. Take the water, feel the temperature, make a bracha. We set an intention we discussed many times. It makes a difference in that water that we drink, just to stop for a moment. And you enjoy the water. When you're mindful, you can enjoy the moment, enjoy that drink, and then you go back. You refresh your mind, you refresh your focus, you're back, Could be a lot going on, but you're back in the moment. If it's possible, you can find a quiet corner, quiet space, outdoors for a few minutes, in the office or at home. Just go out for a minute or two, take a deep breath. I remember by Corona how important it was. We were all in the house with the kids, Erev Pesach, a lot going on. And we weren't sure even if you're allowed to go outside. Are you allowed to go outside? People were locked up. They weren't sure what you're allowed, you're not allowed. Is it poison? Oy vey, what are we going to do? But yeah, just go outside. You open the window, take a deep breath, fresh air, and just take a deep breath. Let it in. So that's being mindful. Being mindful. So you see, all of these ideas are small things, but it has to be done. There are small things that you can do. Just a few minutes here, a few minutes there. I know we're all busy, but we all have 2 minutes in the beginning of the day, middle of the day, the end of the day. We can always find a few minutes, small things to become mindful, just being back in the moment. Another important thing is to be mindful, to be flexible. Things come up, distractions, wherever in any environment you're in. So, you might have tried to do things in a certain way, but it doesn't always work that way. So you're taking a deep breath, you're curious to see what's going on. You want it to go one way, but it's not. So you're flexible. You see, what can I do? Okay, so it's not working. I'll do it later. I'll do it different. It's not as clean. I would want it to be better. It's okay. Setting a timer is a good idea. You can set it for every hour, and you don't have to do much. If you want, you can take a 2-minute break, but we'll see soon. Just by stopping and becoming aware of that timer, of the alarm, taking a deep breath, smiling to yourself, say, oh, I was lost the past hour. Oh, here I am. Okay, now I can continue. So you're just becoming mindful of where I am, what am I doing, what am I focused on. You might see that you're distracted. You're totally not doing what you need to do. And then you have to make a decision. Do I want to continue doing things I don't have to do, or I want to focus and continue my list or whatever it is? But that's becoming mindful. And another mindfulness exercise is practicing gratitude. When you're grateful, you're in the moment and you feel grateful. So if you stop for a moment and say, oh, Baruch Hashem, I managed to do half of my list. Amazing. You finished cleaning something. Wow. Feels good. Thank Hashem. Thank yourself. You were focused. You managed to do it. You did it. Practice gratitude, feel it. And that's being mindful of what you're feeling and putting in some gratitude in your day, into the moment. Spread it out, sprinkle it out in different times so that you can be present. So there is an acronym called STOP, S-T-O-P. And for those who, once you get the idea of what we're looking for and you've practiced mindfulness, so then you don't need more than just a split second, really just a few seconds to stop. And what does the stop stand for? So the S of stop is to stop. You find times in a day where you just stop. And it's not always easy because you're in a rush and the energy in the room is just flying. There's so much going on. So just to stop can you have to be in the moment. So you just stop and notice. Notice what it feels like to stop doing anything. You're in the middle of doing something, you're busy, and you just stop. Take a deep breath. What does it feel like? Some people would feel like I have to get back. The energy just pushes you to continue because you're in the middle of something. But you just stop. Take a deep breath or two and just feel what comes up. Feel that deep breath going in. Inhale, exhale. Doesn't have to take long. It's just a few seconds. And notice the air going in and coming out. What does my breathing look like? Just start observing your thoughts. What am I thinking? What are my emotions? What's my body feeling? Physical sensations. And like we said, just curiosity. Don't try to judge. Don't judge. Don't try to change it. It's just looking from the outside, looking in the window and looking at yourself, seeing what am I doing and why am I doing it? Wow. Stopping for a moment, becoming aware. What comes up? So, so again, the S is to stop. The T is taking a deep breath, take a breath. The O is to observe, and the P is going to be to proceed, continue what you're doing. But before we proceed, just a few split seconds just to stay there, observe your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, whatever comes up, any tension, maybe in your body, in your shoulders. Am I hungry? Am I thirsty? Where am I? Where do I feel whatever I feel? Do I feel relaxed? Am I overwhelmed? Impatience, irritation, joy, calm, whatever comes up, just you're stopping, taking a deep breath, you're observing. Where am I? What am I feeling? And that's it. You let it come up. Don't change it. Let those thoughts come up, the feelings. You might be caught into a situation where you're just caught up. You might be upset. There's always a story behind it, like we discussed many times. You get caught up in the story, in that story that your mind tells you. But when you stop, you can actually see yourself being caught up in the story. So that's important. You might say, you know what? Let me get out of it. And not always is easy to get out of it, but just being aware of, I'm caught up in my story. I'm so upset about this person. Just acknowledge it. Put a smile on your face. Be aware of it. And say, oh, gotcha. I hear you. I'm here with you. I see you. It's okay. And then you proceed. Continuing your day. Then you can ask yourself, what's most important for me to do? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And then you continue. So this stop could be just for 30 seconds. It's just stopping, taking a deep breath. You zoom out, you become aware, you observe. The O is observe yourself. Let whatever comes up, let it come up. Just be aware of it. Thoughts, sensations, emotions, whatever it is. And then you ask yourself, okay, what am I doing now? Proceed. If that's what you need to do now, continue. And you'll be in the moment. If you want to change, you are busy with something, just distracting yourself because of maybe some fear of being in the moment, come back and say, you know what, I have to make that phone call. I have to continue cleaning. I have to do this and do that. You know what, let me continue. You get back to where you need to be. So shouldn't be that hard. After you practice a few times, just a few seconds. And it's amazing what it does. Amazing what it does. Okay, so that's about it. You can, any questions you can put in the chat. And just to, to sum it up, you wake up in the morning, you can make a list of all the things you need to do today. It's called a mental dump. Just dump everything on a piece of paper, everything you have to do. And then be aware of what emotions come up. It's overwhelming. It's just so much going on. I don't know where to start. Just be aware of that. And then start circling those things that can be done after Pesach. You'll do it one day after Pesach. There's so much, everybody's cleaning and doing so much, which is amazing. But if that makes you overwhelmed, not everything has to be done now. Just be aware of it. And circle those things that you'll do one day after Pesach. My kids make fun of me. It's like every year you say you'll do it one day after Pesach, but you don't do it. I said, listen, if we don't do it one day after Pesach, we don't have to do it now. If it's important, we'll do it one day after Pesach. But no, we want to organize, we want to clean. Listen, if you can do it, no problem. But what's important? Number one, when you finish the important things, you can do all the others. That's fine. If you're 5 days before Pesach, ready for the Seder, and you really relax, content, and you have time, go ahead. But usually there's so much to do. So you really have to have your head straight, what's important, what's not. And what's not, you can circle and say, I will do that one day after Pesach. Spend a few minutes in your safe space, with yourself, just to relax, whatever works for you. These days, there's a lot going on. So a few minutes a day, just have time with yourself. Don't wait till you're forced to do it. You can set your intention at the beginning of the day. This is my list that I want to do today. Hopefully it's realistic, not too much. And what do I want to feel while I'm doing the work? How do I want it to look? If it's going to be that way, I don't know, but you can set your intention. You can visualize, you can see yourself doing it already, see yourself doing those tasks, and how the initial reaction might be overwhelmed, but then take a deep breath. I'll manage. Say a short tefillah, Hashem, I'm doing this for you. Help me connect and help me figure this out. Help me stay calm. And when you do feel a little bit of calm, just thank him, thank yourself, thank him. And at the end of the day, even if you only manage to do half of your lists, don't be hard on yourself. It's okay. Be grateful for what you did do. You got it done. Focus on what you managed on doing, and tomorrow is another day. Again, small things. And then reward yourself. Self-care, like we discussed many times. But remember, it boils down to something that works for you. You have to know. We're getting to know ourselves. What's something small that works for me? What's some self-care that I can do? That I can sprinkle in my day. Sometimes it's very small. It doesn't have to be something big. And then you can make your alarm for 3 times a day where you stop, S-T-O-P. You stop, take a deep breath, observe without judgment, and then proceed. Sounds amazing. Okay, thank you very much. Let me see the questions here. If this is a level of bitachon, yes, it is a level of bitachon, and it works together. So again, everybody has to know where they are. If you bring in Hashem into your day and it makes you calm, relying on Hashem, that's amazing. For some people, it's a challenge. So first you find different things, slowly to get there. Ultimate bitachon is to be really always relaxed. And then wait a second, that means I don't have bitachon because I'm stressed. So we're on a journey. We're only beginning, no matter how old you are. You might be 60, 70, 80, 90, but we're only beginning. We're learning. We're getting to know ourselves. How do I connect to Hashem? How do I connect to myself? But no judgment. If I'm stressed, I'm stressed. And then your mind might say, yeah, you see, all these years you were working on the bitachon, it didn't work. It's a thought. It's another thought. Your mind is not going to let go. It's going to drive you nuts. It's okay. You're doing great. Thank you, Hashem. Amazing. For those who have a hard time being mindful, that's an important piece to talk about. We talk about a lot. Why so many out there are on the rat race, are so busy, and when I tell them to stop, when they hear the idea of stopping and relaxing, they say, yeah, it sounds amazing, but it's not for me. There's something behind that, and we discussed it many times. It could be hard to be mindful. And by now you should know why, because mindful means becoming aware of the moment. And you're becoming aware of a lot of things that you might not want to be aware of. And we all have that, some more, some less. And that's why you have to start slowly. If this is the first time you're learning about mindful, take it easy. Take it easy, relax, because there's a lot of components to put in to become mindful. because obviously these feelings come up and it's hard. And it's hard to sit there. It's hard to feel it. It's hard to be aware. So again, a lot of people, you shouldn't do it yourself. Go speak to somebody to say, what, this is something I don't want to think about. This is too hard for me. Talk to somebody so it can be easier. But if you are practicing a little bit of mindfulness, meditation, and you're learning how to relax, how to sit down and to calm down and become aware of everything that comes up, whether it's journaling, and you're becoming aware, and you can continue breathing and taking it easy so that eventually you can have more of those moments, and then things can calm down. You can start being okay with yourself, acceptance, validation, eventually to self-love, but not yet. It takes time. But that's only then we can get to that moments of stopping and being okay. So yeah, it could be a challenge. So a great question here. What's if I am too mindful? Okay. So that's, I guess, the same idea that we discussed before. So some people, you would say, they're the whole day they're busy thinking, is it working? Is it not working? Am I doing it good? Am I not doing it good? And they're at the end of the day, they only did like maybe very little because they're so busy of being so mindful, being so in touch with yourself. And it would sound amazing. I'm in touch. So over there, yes, you do need to put mindful on the side and get to work. Because obviously the mindful is not doing the right thing. Okay, so being mindful is to be relaxed state. I'm sorry, doesn't mean to be relaxed state. Even if you're not in a relaxed state, you're being mindful of where you are, no matter what you're feeling. But then you can continue. If you get caught up with not happy with the way you feel, not and you get caught up, if is it right, is it not right, and you're so mindful, so then put mindful on the side and get to work. Start doing the things you need to do without thinking, is it working, is it not working? But eventually, at a different time, when it's easier, you can stop and think, why am I constantly so mindful? What's holding me back? Why am I so, into my thoughts, into my feelings? And sometimes it does make us stuck. So it's important to that balance. But most of the time when I'm talking about it, it's for those who are busy and they're doing so much and they're running and there's so much going on in their life. And when I stop and talk to them and ask them, what's going on? Where are you? And they're like, I don't have time for that. But keep on going, keep on going. So there's something that's not letting them just be. Okay. Your question is more somebody that their whole day is like thinking about themselves. What am I doing? What am I feeling? And am I feeling good? Am I not feeling good? And it's not sure. So you get caught up. So if that's the case, make yourself the list, get to work, and then eventually you can slow down and say, where am I? Get back to work, come back. So that's the balance. Always coming in the middle. If you're always running, come back, find some moments in your day where you can stop and say, hey, where am I? And if you find yourself being all day busy with where am I, start getting to work and eventually come back to yourself once in a while. Thank you very much. And thank yourself for taking some time off and try to sprinkle in the stop a few times in a day. And I'll see you next week, Wednesday night. Have a good night, a great week, and enjoy the moment.